Hi everyone, my name is Danielle and I work for a very special place called the Dixon Gallery and Gardens. The Dixon Gallery is an art museum here in Memphis, Tennessee, and we have artwork that travels from all over the world to be shown in our gallery spaces. From paintings to drawings to sculptures and statues, all kinds of beautiful things for you to see and learn about. We also have a large garden space at the Dixon where you can enjoy our various plants and flowers. Today, we are going to be talking about an artist from our permanent collection at the Dixon. Honore Daumier was a French artist who lived from 1808 to 1879. He was a painter and a sculptor, but he was most well known for his prints and his drawings. Daumier first sold a drawing to a newspaper when he was only 14 years old. One thing that Daumier would do with his cartoons is criticize people in power who were doing things that he thought were not fair. He actually got in trouble for his work and was put in prison for 6 months for criticizing the king. When Daumier was released from prison, he continued to criticize these higher powers, but he did so by making cartoons and characters that didn't really look like the person he was criticizing. So he got to still share information with the people that he thought was important, which is pretty cool. Daumier was also inspired by everyday life and fashion in Paris. He would draw really simple scenes, but the way that he would add facial expressions and emotion to characters made each picture come to life. Now that we've looked at the work from the artist and cartoonist Daumier, I thought it would be really fun for us to create some characters of our own. Instead of creating just one image to tell a story, we are going to make a comic strip. And instead of drawing that comic strip, we're going to use a program on our computer called Paint 3D to make it all happen. Let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is open Paint 3D and start a new project. Once you have a new canvas ready to go, you can click on the 2D shape tool at the top of your screen. Select the square button, and you can use this to create your comic panels. It's up to you how many panels you want for your comic today. I decided to go with 4. If you click the stamp button on the left-hand side, you can make the same box over and over again. You don't have to worry about the sizes being different. If you want different size boxes, that's totally fine. But this is a quick way to make them all look the same if that's your goal. When you're ready to make the last square, instead of clicking the stamp, click the check mark and you're all done. Now that my panels are finished, it's time to go back to brushes and start creating. I will mostly be using the marker tool today, but feel free to use whatever tool works best for you. Something to think about while you're drawing: characters don't have to be complicated to be interesting. You can use really simple shapes to draw whatever characters you're creating today. Using simple shapes will make things easier if you have to redraw them in a later panel. And if you want to color something in, you can use the paint bucket tool to make things faster. If you want to get extra detailed with your art today, you can use something called the opacity tool. Opacity decides how strong your color is, if it's see-through or if it's solid. So I like to use the opacity tool to take a color I've already used and make it look much lighter. And see how I'm drawing on the edge of my little cartoon? Then I can take my paint bucket tool, lower the opacity again, and fill that line in. Sometimes if it fills in more than you wanted, try the tolerance tool, lower that down a little bit, and it should fix everything. And now I have a nice shadow on my character. It makes him look a little more 3D. Pretty cool, huh? Jerry is going to be the monster that lives under the bed, so now I need to draw a background that shows where he is, under the bed. Depending on what the panels of your comic are going to look like, you may be able to use this trick. Click on the Select tool and draw a rectangle around your entire strip. Then we're going to click copy and paste and drag our copy of our comic into the next panel. Now, instead of drawing everything all over again, I just have to make small changes to the picture I already have. This character is going to be the girl whose bed Jerry is living underneath. Now I have to change Jerry's expression, so I'm going to make that eye look a little bit wider. And then I'm going to erase the mouth just by coloring over it with the green of his fur and give him a surprised expression. And just like before, I'm going to select, copy, and paste this same picture into my final panel. And now all I have to do is change their expressions. And if you wanted a wordless comic, you could be done there. But if you want to add some text to your panels, you can use the text box to write on it directly. Or maybe you'll even use shapes, kind of like in superhero comics, for making noises. So here I've got ah. And once all the text I would like is added, I have a finished comic. Thank you so much for making art with me today. I hope you had as much fun creating as I did. If you are really proud of what you made today, you can share it with us using the hashtag DixonAtHome or DiscoverTheDixon. We would love to see it. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button below and click on the bell to get notifications when we have more fun videos and art projects for you to see from the Dixon Gallery and Gardens. Thank you again for joining me today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye, y'all.